Hey people, I'm making a little sequel to a video I made called Goodwill Photo Hunting. I kind of explained that I'm kind of getting back into photography in a big way. I'm exploring digital, but I'm a film shooter from quite a ways back, and I've kind of done some shopping online, and I still go to thrift stores looking for vintage cameras, and I'm going to show you some stuff I bought in. I've also kind of purged my collection, and even most of the cameras I showed in that Goodwill photo hunting video I actually re-donated because most of those cameras had some sort of problem or defect that I wasn't really willing or able to repair, or wasn't worth repairing to me. But it did really spark my interest in getting back into film photography, and certain cameras that I wanted, that I had certain specimens that had certain problems, and so I was able to go on like eBay and on thrift stores and find better specimens of those cameras. The first one I'm going to show you is a Minolta SRT 201. I had that SRT 100 that I got for $1, and it worked. It was an excellent specimen, but when I realized that I could get like a 101 or a 201 that had all the extra options that the 100 really didn't have, that kind of sparked my interest in shopping for something like that. And I'll show you the one I did get. Now the lens I already had from that $1 SRT 100 camera, but the SRT 201 here has all the extra options, or all bells and whistles that the SRT 100 doesn't have. It goes to 1/1000th of a second. It has the self timer. It just has all the better extras on it. And I got the body. Like I said, I already had the lens. I got this body, and I also got, and I thought this was a great deal, a vintage Ever-Ready case from the same seller for a total of like I think it was like $50, $60. So that was a fantastic deal, and I'd always recommend, if you're shopping for something like this, look for a case, like an Ever-Ready case. Not only is it good to transport the camera, it's good for storing the camera too, so it doesn't get all scratched up or damaged in any way. I also wanted to get like a zoom lens or a telephoto lens, and I also went on eBay and I found this one. This is a vintage Minolta Rockcore 80-200 lens. It's not an aftermarket brand, it's a actual Minolta lens of the same vintage, and I got this for, I think it was like about $50, and that included the shipping. So I thought that was a pretty darn good deal. So I have for $100, I have a really nice vintage Minolta system there. The next camera I'm going to show you, I used to have a Nikkormat FTN, which is a SLR, which was like kind of the advanced amateur level down from, say, the Nikon F professional SLR cameras that Nikon series that they made, but the one I had, the FTN that I had, even with an adapted battery thing with the rubber washer that I actually showed in the video, the meter in that FTN was defective. It wasn't really, it was shorting out, and this was a camera that I never ran any film through. I didn't have it for very long. I only paid $35 for the body, used at a camera store. So I actually decided to redonate that one also. But I did really like the knicker mat, so I shopped around on eBay and I bought this camera. This is the knicker mat FT2. It was the next incarnation of the knicker mat. It uses a like a more easily available battery than the one that the FTN used, and it's obviously has a professional black finish. I bought this one on eBay from a camera store that had their own like virtual store on the website, and I paid about $75 for this one. And this body had been what they call CLA'd, cleaned, lubricated, and adjusted, and also the light seal had been redone. So that was actually kind of nice that a lot of work was put into this body before it was put up for sale. One thing I actually did though on this one is I did some touching up of there were some bare spots, what they call brassing, where the finish shows through where the paint wears off in spots. I used a combination of like flat black hobby mile paint, and I also used some gloss black. Like on here there's a little dent that didn't affect it at all, but I touched that up with some automotive black touch-up paint. Other than that, it looks great, and it should work really good too. So that's the knicker mat FT2. Now another camera that has some idiosyncrasies that I didn't know about, and I had a couple specimens of this camera before I really knew about this problem. This is the Yashica Electro. This is the GSN version of that camera, and if you know anything about this camera, it was kind of a groundbreaking type of exposure system. It had electronic shutter, but I mean it's a classic kind of rangefinder style camera. It has a great lens. Compared to other subsequent types of rangefinder cameras, I mean it's not in the class of a Leica, obviously. The finish and quality it's okay. It's not like super great, but it does have a really nice lens. But one thing, if you're looking for this camera, if you come across one of these, something you should know about if you don't already do is the what they call the infamous Yashica pad of death. Now, the pad of death was actually kind of a euphemistic term. There's a little pad here that contacts the film advance, has to contact and trigger the electronic shutter. And you know you have one that is good if you hear like an extra clicking. See, if you heard that, I'll try it one more time here. See right there? You hear that? That means this is a good working camera. If you don't hear that, that means that little pad has slipped off or deteriorated, and you're not going to get, your electronic shutter is not going to adjust itself to the light that's from your subject, if that's a good enough explanation. The camera will still work, but it will work at a default shutter speed of 1/500th of a second. The funny thing was, before I knew about this after the fact, after I'd done some research, I had two other cameras like this several years back. I had found it at the Goodwill for like $15 a piece, and One I thought that was good was not good, and I had kept, and then the one that was good I actually donated, thinking it was bad. When I heard that extra click, I thought there was something broken or something. Well, of course now I know that wasn't the case. And then so I had kept the one that was bad, the one that I didn't hear the clicking, the extra click. So I recently also got rid of that one too. I redonated that one. But I really wanted a good specimen of this camera, so I went on eBay and I did a fair amount of shopping around. Prices are like all over the place for specimens of this camera, and this one I found, and I know it works. Not only does the shutter work, but the I can show you the battery check. See that light lighting up there? I'm pressing the little button there. So not only does that work, but the battery check works. I got this one from a seller all the way in the United Arab Emirates, if you know where that is. That's one of these small Gulf states that borders Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. So it came quite a ways for me to get this specimen, but I'm pretty happy with it. It still needs a bit of cleaning up, and the light seal looks to be all right. I won't really know for sure until I try a film in it, but this camera does have a lot of fans. Like I said, it's not the most refined, you know, construction and fit and finish, but it has such a fantastic lens on it, and it makes great images. So I'll look forward to trying this one out. Now another camera that I bought, and I've had a couple other specimens, I bought this one, is this the Canon QL17 G3. This is a very desirable camera for a lot of people. On eBay, prices are also pretty all over the place. It's kind of like, has a reputation as being like the poor man's Leica, they call it. The finish and quality is a bit above the Yashica that I just showed you. This is actually the third one I've owned. First one I owned I found at a thrift store several years ago, but the shutter and the film advance was all jammed up. I could never undo it, so I didn't think I could fix it or get it fixed, so I got rid of that one. Next one I got recently at the Goodwill website, shopgoodwill.com. Now the problem with that was I was kind of in a bidding war, and I did win the auction, and I thought I was going to get a perfectly working camera because they said it was tested in shoots. Okay, that was like that was quote their description. Well, the problem is I got the camera, and I had to find out what kind of battery or adapter and things to use, and I can show you here. You had to get like a special, or I ordered a special adapter, kind of like a collar that a hearing aid, equivalent hearing aid battery will fit into there. It's like a little machined kind of spacer thing. But the problem was, in that other camera, the one I got at the Goodwill website, I could not get the meter to work at all, and I know I had good batteries. I tried all kinds of things. I thought it wasn't making contact. I tried lifting up there was like a little protrusion at the bottom. I thought maybe that wasn't making contact. I tried all kinds of ways to try to get the thing to work. I came to the conclusion that the meter was basically dead. So basically, and I didn't really want to keep the camera if it wasn't fully functional. In this case, this camera, you can use this fully manual. You can make your lens opening and your shutter manual settings also. But I wanted a fully functional camera, and I only wanted one. So I kind of like ate the cost. It was like I paid about $65, $67 for that one, including the shipping. So, but I decided, well, I'll let someone else screw around with it, or if they want to use it just the way it is. So I donated that one to Goodwill. But I did after a while shopping, I got this one off of eBay, and I paid about $90 $90, and that seems to be a pretty good price. I mean, these, depending on, you know, condition, this is in pretty good condition. Still needs some cleaning up. In this case, I have to do the light seal though, and I'll show you. You can see that bottom. That's got to be all redone. So this camera is not ready to use yet, but everything else works great on this. So that's the Canon G3 there. Now I still go to a Vincent de Paul store in Goodwill, and not too long ago I actually came across a pretty cool find. If you dig in those little plastic bins sometimes that thrift stores have, or on the shelf with all the cheap plastic black soap bar cameras, I call them, you might find a real cool vintage camera. And this one I did find at Goodwill. This is a Kodak Retina 2, and this is a camera from like the immediate post-war Germany. I think it was from like 1946 or 47. I did a little research and I looked on eBay. There are some of these up for sale, but I got this one at Goodwill for the princely sum of $19.99. Now it does need some work, but it does work. I mean, it doesn't need any mechanical work. The leatherette obviously is missing from these panels here. I've actually already started kind of like cleaning this one up, but I can kind of show you the how it opens up here. It folds out. The bellows is good. And this actually, even among this Retina 2s, is actually kind of a desirable version. This actually has an American Kodak Ektar lens, and the Ektar lens, unlike the Hologon and another German lens, were uncoated, but this American Ektar lens was coated. Now that is significant, because that means that you could take a color. Back then, color film was only in transparencies, but you could take color pictures with this, and they would look, you know, what the color film would read. You would read it in the kind of hues that the color film would render, I guess you could say. But for $20, it's very, very desirable find. I don't know how it ended up at Goodwill, but I've seen these things go on eBay for like $150 if they're in, you know, good condition. So that's quite a cool find, I thought. And I'm definitely gonna, you know, it's a manual camera. There's no light meter, nothing. But I actually have a vintage light meter. I might show in a future video or whatever. It would be a great companion for this. Or you could just, you know, do your, you know, intuitive settings if you know how to read the light or whatever. But very cool find, all in all. Now this one I actually found the day that I'm making this video, and this is actually another one, one of those dollar finds, like in the Goodwill photo hunting video. Although the cool thing about this one is that everything works. Not only does everything work, it had a good battery in it, and the meter works. And this camera is a Minolta hi-matic G. And the hi-matic G was a simple zone focus camera. Obviously it's a 35mm. It has a light meter. It uses a simple, I'm not going to open it up, but it uses a 675 size mercury battery. So you can just substitute one of those 675 hearing aid batteries without any kind of modification to the battery chamber or anything like that, and you'll still get an accurate reading because it's the same voltage. But like I said, I got this one for $1, and it's amazing that there's no, I don't really see any, like I said, it was in a plastic bin with a bunch of other cameras, and I don't see any scratches really on the bottom of the lens. Lens is good. I actually had this filter. I added this filter just a little while back. I dug through my collection of accessories and stuff and put that on there right away. Still needs some cleaning up, but it's in fantastic shape. There's no scratches on the black paint or anything here. These little past stickers on there still, but that's gotta say, fantastic find there for $1. I've seen these go on eBay. I just looking just today. These things are going for anywhere from $40, $50, $60. So I don't think I would put it up for sale. I've learned through experience, my recent experience, that finding a fully functioning, cosmetically excellent, vintage camera is, worth keeping. I know a lot of people like to buy stuff and flip stuff, but all these things I'm showing you, I'm actually, going to use. I'm not one of these people that collect stuff just to collect it and then forget about it. So, another thing, I have kept some stuff from other things that I did give away though. Good cases. Not only is a case good for storing your equipment, it's good for using it in the field. If you can find a camera that has a good case, go for it. In the case of that Nicker mat, I had a case. It came with a case also. It was in excellent condition. And that Yashica, I actually kept one of the cases from one of the Yashicas that I actually donated, because this is a case from an earlier model Yashica Electro. It's not from that GSN. I had a case for the GSN, but it was kind of one of those. It wasn't as good as this one. It was a different style. It was kind of a cheap vinyl looking thing, and I actually threw it out. That might seem wasteful, but I only have so much space, drawer space, to store all my photo stuff. So I kept this one case, got rid of the camera that came with this one, and I'm going to use this one with the one I have. I'm only going to have one of these cameras. I'm not going to accumulate, several of the same things. So another case too, that Minolta. I think I might have showed this. I bought that body and it came with a case too. Like I said, it was this and the body was like $50, and that was a fantastic deal. So I hope you got something out of this video. One thing, some advice I would give, if you're looking on the internet, if you're looking on a site, especially like Goodwill.com. I'm not saying you can't find something good there, but the people that put the stuff up on that site, they really don't, unless they know the former owner or something who will vouch for the thing working. You can't really trust it, I would say. They're not going to test it if they don't have a battery in the thing. If it, to test a meter, if it has a battery operated meter, you can't really trust it. With eBay, I'm always kind of surprised that a potential seller will not, spend a couple bucks or find out, to put like a battery in it or something, or try it out. They'll say, oh, I don't know if this works, and yet they're asking, $50, $80, $100 or more for something. I've learned to steer clear of that. It's better, I think, to buy it from someone who is a actual camera expert, or a camera store, or the actual owner of the camera who might have had it for several years, who who can vouch for it. Actually, you know, everything works on it, or if something doesn't work on it, they'll be upfront and let you know. So, but with that, I'm really going to enjoy playing with these things. Said I don't just buy stuff to collect stuff myself. I like to shoot pictures. I like film. I'm also learning digital myself, and I'll probably be doing stuff on digital also. So I hope you got some out of this video, and until then, good luck in looking for some cool vintage cameras and stuff like that. So till then, bye for now.